Some people from Canada that's gone over into Texas, and I'm waiting to be next. I'm already a target myself. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, I gotta leave. I gotta leave Michigan when I'm done because they're getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Sending people to my house still. I'm like, it's like the paperwork is they act like they immune to it. They don't care about no paperwork. They don't care if it's coming from federal.
You
They
what?
don't care.
No, they just want to protect it. I don't understand why. I mean, I do money wise,
Yeah.
but morally wise, I mean that has to end.
Well, there's a lot of fraud going on because they're acting as us as the beneficiary, and that's not, they're gonna have to, come up with what they're doing. Because while we're waiting on Joe, I went and did an assume. Oh, Mr. Difficult. So you remember the video you had up with Roy Rogers about the claim the name before they do? Well, I did, since I'm in Michigan, I did the exact same way that he said to do it, right? I sent it in twice. They sent it back, right? So the second time they sent it back, they said that a business has to be a fictitious name, and the legal name is a government name. And I said, what does that mean? I said, so, huh?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I said, so I called them and I said, hey, I said, so is someone down there using the name that was given to me by my mom? I said, because they sent this back to me and said that this is a fictitious, if it's not a fictitious name is a business. And the name user, or what did it say? I wish I don't know what I did with the paper.
The name holder?
The name holder, no, it didn't say name holder. It said the oh crap. Oh, wish I could. Basically saying that my name is it's a government name. I said, so what is a government name? So who owns this name? I said, if I'm the name holder on the account. So I think there's something going on, because when I read on their website today, they're basically saying I can't do an assumed name in a government name. So I said, well, if it's a government name, whoever's claiming it needs to send they need to take our responsibilities for that fiction. If it's a government name, then they need to take over the delegation to whatever they're doing. So I don't know.
To me, go ahead.
I just did mine 2 nights ago, and I'm in Texas, and I did it on the website in Michigan. And so it went through. My birth certificate name went through.
And you say Michigan or Texas?
I'm in Texas. But I do the assumed name in Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. Now I did I think it's Liza. I did her tutorial.
Okay. Maybe I need to check that one out, because did you do the form that says certified business registration?
No. If you'll get with me after this,
okay,
I'll send you my login info and you can follow that tutorial.
Okay.
I did it verbatim just like she said it, and it worked. And that was just 2 nights ago. So yeah.
Okay.
I wonder what laws in Michigan, or what the laws are like in Michigan. Why did you choose Michigan?
Well, okay, this is what she says, because it's the only state that hasn't done that, whatever that particular thing, that that little cover their ass law that they put on all the other states. It's the only one that's still open. I'm gonna make sure I'm saying the right state, because let me check my email right now.
I got my DBAs from Minnesota.
I did
And
my,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Minnesota. You're right. You're right.
yes,
I
Minnesota.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did mines there too, but they said they don't recognize it here in Michigan.
Well, you don't need, once you do your DBAs in Minnesota, you don't need to refile in your county. You just need to publish it after that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though you had it published there, you still have to publish it here in your state.
You have to publish it in your principal county. So
Okay.
wherever you're doing business, you have to publish it there.
Okay. Okay.
Let's say that. Okay, I'm still hung up on my M's. So it's not Michigan. It's Minnesota.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry,
Minnesota
that was
Rule
my bad. My
333.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
That Minnesota Rule 333.
Yeah, I did
Always,
that.
always, yeah.
And then I registered it on FinCEN.
Not sure what that is.
FinCEN is a federal crimes unit.
Hmm.
So say someone's out here using your name, you can report it on FinCEN as a
Oh,
securities fraud.
right.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
And I heard that you can claim your address and your vehicle, your VIN number too on FinCEN. I was supposed to did it today, but I just didn't. I wasn't feeling up to it today, so. But I'm gonna get to it probably later on tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, because it's like you get lost in all the processes, man.
Yeah, you gotta kind of free yourself up. That's why I haven't really been on TikTok for a minute because I'm like, I need a break.
Right. Because you learn something new and it's like, man, I'm gonna go try
Exactly. It's kind of
it.
like, man, they say it's always more ways to skin a cat, but it's too many, different ways that you can,
Hmm.
but you don't know which one is actually gonna stick and which one is actually gonna work. So hopefully Joe found a way that can get some people remedy.
Well, I mean, there's all kind of remedies you're seeking, but when you're sitting in jail, there's I don't, there's one or two things you can do,
Yeah. Someone
but
was saying, did you hear anybody talk about a declaration, a name declaration?
a name decree, yeah.
Name, yeah. Okay, somebody named Honey.
Honey, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Honey and Ampu, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh-huh. So apparently, according to because that's what Honey said on my live. She said that Ampu got out with using a name decree.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just pulling you out of their jurisdiction, apparently. So
That's all you gotta do, huh?
If they
well,
will let you.
if they'll let you. That's correct.
Hmm.
What's up, Jason? We're just waiting on Joe to get here, on everything to fill up. I
So
was gonna
what's
hmm?
the status on Frank?
I haven't heard from him. Have you heard any of the calls I had with him?
No, just the original one, I think.
Yeah, because Frank hit me up while I was on a live, right? And he was
That
sitting
must
in
be the
jail.
one I saw.
What's that?
I think that's the one I saw.
Yeah. And we sat on that live all day waiting for him to go to his trial. And I was gonna call into the Zoom and listen while I was on live. It's all about because back then I was doing what, I was trying to be a witness for someone else. And if I could go live while being a witness,
Mhm.
now you got all the witnesses that are in my life as well. But
Right.
they ended up they made him sit there all day, and then at the end of the day they just filed it or issued a continuance, and he didn't get the link. Joe didn't get the link. Hold on. Uh, let me get this link to Joe. So they filed a continuance on him and put him back in jail. And I mean
That is just I mean,
yeah.
every time you just want to say that's against the law, and nobody gives a shit.
Nobody. But the thing is, there's no prosecutor out there that has, because they got to get somebody to prosecute him, right? There's got to be someone on the prosecutor side if he goes in front of a judge, and there's not a lawyer out there that wants to do it.
It's same
Why?
in my, I mean, nobody wants to represent me. And at this point, I'm not the criminal. You know, the attorney is, but it's, you know, nobody wants to touch it if it's exposure to any of the main issues that exist in our, you know, judiciary system at this point. Nobody wants to touch it.
Right. Oh, you know, I didn't even add Joe to this list. I just assumed he's not even on the list. That's crazy. He's on the other one, the private one, but he's not on this one. Um, yeah, so I sent it to him. Yeah, it's crazy. And you know, I just spoke to Frank maybe like a month ago, and since then I haven't heard from him because he was taking like re-entry class, you know, so getting him ready to re-enter society, you know.
What?
Mm.
Yeah, but and then like a week later he was still in there. So it's like, I mean, they just keep playing with him. They keep making him think. So what I think is happening is they're just keeping him in there to wait for those bonds to fully mature so they can get as much money as they can because they're going to have to pay this man when he gets out. Either
Oh,
that or they going probably try to, you know, make him go away, if you know what I'm saying. But I mean, if he made it this long, I mean, he said he's walking through the jail and like nobody's touching him. Everybody's staying out of his way.
wow. Yeah, because he he's a hot commodity. They can't put their hands on him.
That's what you would think. I mean, because he's been through it in there.
Really?
Yeah, man.
When I
Yeah.
say hot commodity, I'm saying the courts know who he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
The
they
courts
know
know.
they know who he is, and he know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets touched in there any type of way, that's a lawsuit on the cap on wherever he's locked up at.
Yeah.
And
I
they
mean,
don't want those problems too.
they're gonna have to get him out first before he can do any of that, though. You know. What's up,
Yeah.
Joe?
How's it going?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Hey, Joe.
Hey Joe.
Hi.
I am keep all this open, and I'm going to share my screen because I'm not exactly sure how many people are going to show up. I just put it out there for everybody to come. Wow, that's pretty cool. I got like the Aurora Borealis behind me.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm jealous. I wish I was over there.
You could do the same thing with your background.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what my background looks like, so it don't even matter.
Right. Since what? You've been doing this for like 2 years or something on Rumble, right?
Yeah, something like that, about 2 years. I used to just do the videos on my phone. I still
Right.
have the app that I used to record. I made a phone video like a few months ago or something. Like people were arguing about the different like capital S state, lowercase s state, and I was like, I'm gonna put this to rest. And I just pulled up dictionaries and just showed people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop. I was like, from my phone. I'm like,
Right.
look, like, come on.
And you're
Guys.
still doing it today.
Yeah. I don't know how to change this thing. I don't really care, I guess.
So I've been kind of spending all day like putting all these slides together. So I hope y'all like it. You know, it doesn't seem too bootleg or anything.
No, that's cool. Yeah, this is Bree does something like this too. I can't do this kind of stuff. I'm like putting
Nah,
slides together.
but then you don't have to, Joe. You gotta just come with that sauce, man. Yeah. I guess I'll give like a people like a couple more minutes. While we're doing this, anybody just want to talk about their story? I'll go over the agenda first. How's that?
Sounds
So
good.
I was kind of waiting for everybody to get here before I do that, but let's just get it going, right? This is being recorded. You guys are, just giving you notice that this is being recorded. Uh, so I'm going to start off with just a Q&A and share your story. All right, quickly, so everyone can speak. I'm going to aggregate a list, and you can open a file. I have a Google Doc file out there where you could just add your story. I've already added Brandy's. She sent me hers. Um, and then we're going to go through the known remedies like a habeas corpus, the name decree like we were just talking about, and a letter of administration, right? And then the little known remedies will take place on another call for all those who've submitted the NDA. We'll go over what you need, writing all the letters that accompany it, and then we'll do like a quick uh Q&A. That sound good to you, Joe?
Yeah.
All right. So everyone on the call will have access to a Google Doc. You can open the doc in Google. You can open the doc in Google Docs on your phone or on your browser, right? Add your story to this document, and I'll organize everyone's stories and add them as a topic to my website's forum. The website will give people access to the forum, which allows you to create your own topics, so we can keep a record of keep a record of progress with your case. I'm trying to finalize the website by the end of April, but as of now, it is up and functional. So here's a link to the document. Everybody should have access to the folder because I added everyone's email to the access. So I guess I'll put it in the chat so everybody can see it. Now, where is the chat? There it is.
Where is it? Okay.
It should be on your bar at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess the agenda says that we're gonna do about 30 minutes of this. So we're 12 minutes in. So let's just go through it. Anybody have a story to share?
I mean, I can read mine if you want me to.
Yeah, Brandy.
Okay. Let's see. So my title was I may need to get out of jail before it's done and said.
Right.
Which let me not negate that I have been arrested for posting on Facebook and social media pictures of my child. Anyway, so my story is the perpetrator is the Texas attorney at law. He was charged with 2 felonies, rape and one felony, another felony violation of protective order, 2 or more times in a 12-month period. In all arrests, never spent more than 4 hours in jail. So that's where, talking about like Frank and everyone else that's in jail. I mean, this man has been charged by the police department with a rape and arrested 2 other times for violation of the protective order the state gave him, not a private protective order. The state of Texas gave me that. Which, meaning the district attorney's office. And never spent more than 4 hours in jail. So I get arrested for, posting on Facebook or taking pictures, and I spend 38 hours in there. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, so the arrest and the bail's in order. The first bail bond was set at 20,000. Got out of that. They let him come straight back to the home. And that was back in 2018. So the second one was $5,000 and the third one was $5,000. So you've got, felony charge on each of those, and he's getting out on $5,000.
Felony
Go ahead.
charges for posting something on Facebook, social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
Contempt. Yeah, you can't make it up. This family court administrative stuff is, I don't care if it's about family or not. When it's contempt, it's out of control. I said I'm to a point. No entities will act on the reports of additional crimes shown from police call logs and the oppression of a state protective order never entered into the NCIC system to protect victims. Now, that goes back to the state's attorneys giving me a sexual assault protective order, but never entering it, as that's the clerk's duty. That should be like, before you turn the lights off, make sure you've entered all protective orders for the day given. But somehow that was overlooked on mine. I said, I don't know how to proceed. No one will do anything. This is unacceptable. This is the opposite of get out of jail. But I'm hoping all learn and start and shared can help. And then I said background. During my application to modify the orders for the child to protect myself and the child, this was after the assault, Mr. Rutter was charged with 2 felonies. The district attorney, the Jacksonville Police Department, and the crisis center were all complicit in covering for the perpetrator, denying victim services, victims' rights. The perpetrator attorney, exacerbation of mental health claims that have been satisfied to ad nauseum. I said, this is systematic abuse and bias. It involves the systematic abuse of the whole system, the courts, district attorney, law enforcement, and victim services. And I'll include, at this point, of course, I have PTSD, no doubt. I mean, I don't even want to drive my car because I'm afraid that I'll be arrested. And just last week, I got to check my mailbox, and my complaint from the police station is in an envelope from the police station, not addressed, which means a private delivery from probably an armed police department employee put that in my mailbox. And I, submitted that electronically. So I did call and report that was scary. It was scary. And so I'll go back to the attempt to cover up for the abuse and the denial of claims facts by the court and professionals involved in law enforcement and courthouse staff is an easy fact. I have all the receipts. The judge abruptly recused herself back in December. I'm at the point I've given the police their own call logs and provided the protective orders shown for the crime, and the evidence blatantly shows the criminal, unethical, and official misconduct. My attempt to go to appeals or higher entities so far have gone thwarted by local cover-up. My last hearing, the new judge says that my motions are abusive. And that was an attempt to file an emergency motion.
Wait, so it's a lawyer that's coming against you?
Yes, he is the accused.
He's the accused. You're going against him.
Well, I mean, initially it would be I was going against him, but instead what he's done is he's gone in the lower court and he's weaponized that, because he has more clout there, and he's weaponized that, and he's been able to kind of control, the courts. And so you've got literally upstairs is the district attorney's office that's pressing these charges, but I'm not afforded victims' rights in a lower court. Furthermore, I'm not given any victims' rights ever, still to this day.
Statute, though, yeah. Like, so, okay, so I mean, it's so no one has been hurt but you, essentially.
Well, me and the child, yeah.
Yeah, okay, right.
And my extended family, as y'all know, when someone's held in jail or some sort of peonage, it affects your whole family. It affects your estate, your monies, your mental health, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you're kind of like just kind of waiting to see what's the next move. Are you waiting for them to make a move now?
No, no, I think they're done with their move. They're just hoping I don't get another move. They're trying to, thwart my moves. I just have to figure out how I go around them and get the move, if it's possible.
Yep. And it's like, so but we were talking about claiming the name and all that. You've done that already?
Yes, I just did that.
How long ago did
Which
you do
now
it?
months ago in the court, I wrote up my own executor claimant status, for lack of better words.
Okay.
And I was able to verbally and also email, my status. Not that they address it, because they don't. They don't even answer. The clerk, she doesn't even answer my emails, my motions.
Do
I
you have
mean,
your EIN for it?
what's that?
Do you have an EIN for your estate?
I do now.
You do now. Okay. Yeah, because like for my court case, I'm not sure why. I can't really speak on being very certain as to why, but my court case just gone cold. Like just up until yesterday, I checked it and there has been no activity. It's been over a month since I had been scheduled a jury trial. I went to the jury trial and I get up there, I had a power of attorney, in fact, with me, and I gave it to the bailiff to give it to the judge. She goes, "This isn't drafted by a lawyer. I'm not gonna accept this," and she gave it back. And then and then she told me to sit down and wait because she says, "I want you to watch a trial before we go to your jury trial." And I said, "Ma'am, I object to a trial. I already sent back the summons. You know what I mean? I'm only here on the threat, duress, and coercion. Like, I need to get this handled and settled today." She goes, I understand, Mr. England, but I've got a lot of people here today. Let me get through them." And I said, "Fine," because I already spoke my piece. So I kind of sat there for the rest of that day, expecting to be heard. She never called me that day. So I left, came back the next day. And that day I filed an affidavit telling them that I know that that prosecutor lied. She said she saw my bill of particulars when she said that she addressed my bill of particulars when I met with her privately, she said she couldn't find it. So I'm wondering why my computer's whirling right now. I hope it doesn't blow up on me. But yeah, so I sat there for like 4 hours that day, and then I just said, "Okay, I'm not doing this," and I just left, and I haven't heard from them since. I checked the court docket every day. I checked that court docket every day for like every every 15 minutes. I checked it for like 2 weeks. No movement on it, none whatsoever, nothing. So I'm wondering if I get pulled into jail again, they're just gonna slap those charges on me again, you know?
Did they, is it on, is it still on the docket or is it gone?
Still there?
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Watch I pull it up right now on the call, and it's like arrest warrant.
I wouldn't be surprised they do shit like that sometimes.
I know.
There was a court case I went to. I had to go to court for resisting arrest. Um, and they changed it to a noise ordinance because that was the only charge was resisting arrest. And I called them out on that. I said, that's a dumb, how could that be like the primary charge? And the
Exactly.
judge goes, good point. Noise ordinance. Pay at the door. I was like, no, I'm not paying.
Right?
Like you
See?
changed it that quick to me going to jail for 5 years to pay $25. I'm out.
And
And
that's the same thing that the
6 years
police.
later, they made it. They put a warrant out for my arrest on that $25, right? And then they dropped it like a week later. Like I was looking through the history. I was like, oh, these guys are weird, man. They do some weird stuff.
I do.
Look, bench warrant recalled. Like they recalled the warrant.
Yep, because I filed a bill of particulars. Where is it? Notice to produce, right? Demand filed. I filed a bill of particulars, and I got me this hearing. And I went into the hearing, and I got like a video of me. I got the transcript of it, right? And I've got like at least 2 hours worth of footage that I serendipitously recorded while I was in there. Right?
Now, here's what they'll do. All the bailiffs go around and make everyone turn off their phone in front of them.
Dude, they kicked out 3 people while I was in there for just their phone going off.
Look,
I got
they took the phones out of our hands in the hearing and confiscated them.
That tells you how fraudulent the
Fucking
court system
corrupt
is.
they are.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they don't want. They're like, oh, we're gonna record it. We have someone doing this, and I could show you my last court case. The amount of times they put indisconcernible into the transcripts, like I sent it to my friend who she's been doing this for like 20 something years, and I sent it to her, and she looks, she goes, Joe, these people are fucking with you hardcore. I've never seen it that bad before. She's like, either the woman doing the transcripts was drunk, or they was really trying to fuck with you, because they took out all the pertinent information that I talked about in that court case, everything.
That's how it was.
Oh.
The exculpatory evidence, correct?
That's right. Yep. All the exculpatory evidence. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know what they're doing.
I learned that one from you, Joe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Brady rule, man. I learned that from you. I did a video on it, and I was like, "Yo, the Brady rule." Because then, to me, that's ammunition if you're gonna go into the court and fight that fight.
That's right. Yeah, if you have like an affidavit saying that you're a national, that you're not a U.S. citizen, that is exculpatory evidence saying they don't have jurisdiction. They don't have jurisdiction over if you're a non-resident and you're not a U.S. citizen, they don't have jurisdiction over you, right? And they're supposed to just go, eh. And it used to work all the time. We used to just send those affidavits in, and then they would just drop the case. They didn't want to deal with it, but now they're just going, oh, we don't take affidavits.
Call them that sovereign citizens now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they call you sovereign citizens.
Sovereign
They say,
citizen, yeah.
we don't take affidavits. That's what they just did to my friend a couple months ago. He got a ticket for driving without a license, and he sent in his affidavit. They go, we don't recognize affidavits in this court. Like, what kind of fucking court are you then? Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Doesn't
That's
the
the question.
doesn't the police officer submit an affidavit when he writes up the ticket? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not a lawyer either. So what is he doing writing this paperwork?
Right.
That
That's
comment
what
was freaking hilarious.
That's what look, I'm not practicing law. I'm standing on my rights. You know what I mean? That's why, I don't like to say I'm practicing law either, because I don't want to practice doing anything that could get me locked up, man.
One of my teachers told me he doesn't practice law at all. He's like, he went in front of the judge, and the judge goes, you're practicing law. He goes, no, now I know what I'm doing.
Right,
I
exactly.
know what I'm doing.
That's what he said. I'm not practicing. I know what I'm doing.
But they practice law from the bench every day, judges.
I got them on that. That's why the judges got to be really careful with me, and they know it, because I appeal every court. Every time they go, you're guilty, I just appeal it. And then I go, they were practicing law from the bench. They shut me up. That's a violation of their own rules. They're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got the right to be
I've
heard.
been told, do not speak. Miss Collins, do not speak. On the record.
Right.
On the record.
They'll tell you to shut up.
Mhm.
I've never been told to shut up. I just get overspoken.
Right.
Yeah, they'll talk over you.
Yeah, they talk over you and say you're talking over them when you're talking.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So I know I was telling you the guy that just got arrested last week. B was on the phone with him when it happened, because me, B, and this other guy, his name is Lamont, we were trying to get Frank out of jail. I mean, we did it for like 2 months straight, But B, you was on the phone with him when it happened.
It was sad. It was sad, bro. I
Oh
couldn't
wow.
even, because he was asking like, what I do. I was like, bro, I wouldn't go outside. You got to come in here and get me. But once they start pointing guns, and his daughter was right there in the front, the front room. I'm like, he's like, man, I'm going outside. I'm like, hey, you ain't got to go with them, because I know look at the warrant. It's not legit. He was like, bro, I'm like, I ain't even got to be there. I know it's not legit because they wouldn't even approach it. They would have came in and got you if it was a real warrant for you.
Correct,
Exactly.
correct.
If it
Yeah,
was
and now he's in there. I'm like, bro, and I talk to him every once in a while, but it's like him, and two of my cousins are in jail, so it's like I'm spread thin,
right.
and it's like, man, it's also, just having my own fight. I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm tired, bro.
Yeah.
It is
Did y'all see
tiring.
the Did y'all see the post I put? I took it down, but I got like frustrated and mad, and I made a mad post. Did anybody see it?
Uh-uh.
Tempted
I
to,
took it
like,
down.
I
I took
saw
it
it.
down. Because I'm like, I'm tired, man. I'm tired of this.
I probably did see about
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Was it yesterday?
No, it was a while back, a week or
Oh,
Well, like maybe a week, maybe something like that. Yeah,
it was
it
the
was
first. And
last
I'm like,
Sunday.
yeah, I think because I liked it. I'm like, because that's how I feel, bro. I'm like,
yeah.
I was on the phone with one of the clerks, and I just stopped with the with the legalese. I'm like, hey, listen here, lady. I'm tired of being transferred. I'm tired of being lied to. Like, I know y'all doing fraudulent. I'm pointing it out to you.
Yeah.
So please, like, just give me the information I'm looking for. Unless you want your name on this paperwork too.
Hmm.
But by the way, I have your name wrote down. I was repeating her name back to him. Like, what do you want to do? I just want just give me these people email or number so I can talk to them and I can get my tort claim in the right hand. So I just want you to be aware of what's coming. So you can't lie and say, oh, he didn't do anything and he didn't submit the right paperwork. I'm like, who cares? I'm telling you that I want my damages and I'm pointing out to you I got falsely arrested. Not once but twice. And your name was on the paperwork.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and then she goes say, the court knows nothing about it. So y'all not doing y'all job and reading? Like, what's up?
No.
How do you?
It's your,
How does
your
the
name
court?
is here. I
How does
know
the
you.
court
She
not know
like,
anything about it when they're the one that's doing it?
bro, you seen the video. She said that, but I can pull up right now where this warrant came from, and it has her name. So it's like, how do you gonna lie to me on the record?
Mm.
On the record in front of everybody.
Yeah,
That easily. I mean, my case is nothing but perjury. It
Yep.
is so blatantly obvious. You've got
Mhm.
the attorney who's the perpetrator doing all this in the lower court and just having his way with it. But the
He's got all his
problem,
friends there.
I can't find anyone that has the balls to say, you know what, this is wrong. This is wrong.
Right. No, because they take that oath though, not to the Constitution, but to the bar. It's a guild.
no, see, that's how I found out. Like, I was getting like well known in Griffith because when I got pulled over, I had my son and his friend in the car because I was dropping his friend back off. And he repeated, he's like, hey, I'm one of the good ones, man. I'll give you a ticket and move on my day. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like,
That's still not
I'm
good.
telling him, I'm like, I stepped away from car. I'm like, bro, like, you're not one of the good ones if you're letting this go on. And my name is being thrown around because they already approached me with my name. So you don't have to ask them. You see, I come in, I filed claims with you. I filed a police report on his friend. I know y'all hang out because at the time my son used to do football and half their squad had sons in it. So I know all these people. It just wasn't till you feel like um I wasn't able to travel through your city with. And like they hit me with a noise ordinance and it was 3 o'clock. I'm like, school didn't even let out at the time. I'm on my, it was just so many
He
tickets
just
back
said
to
that
back.
like
Like,
they
it was
switched his
crazy.
charges to like a noise violation or something.
Yeah. And not all of them say driving while suspended. Like, how do you know? Like,
Right.
what possessed you to pull me over?
Right.
Was it
Because you don't
a,
got tags on your car, do you?
oh, at the time I did, but they were, one was out of state and the other one, it just was, about to be expired. So it wasn't expected. And that's what I'll do. Like when I move somewhere, I'm gonna get the tags. I'm gonna get pulled over so you know who I am when this car. So yeah, the tag expired. Oh yeah, I don't participate in commerce. Yeah, so
This
So
so
this
what do you
goes.
do?
Go ahead.
So what do you do with your driver's license? Like this year, mines will be like up for renewal. I'm not renewing them.
yeah,
So
just don't renew it.
yeah,
It's
but
simple.
they suspended them anyway, and I gave them back.
Yeah,
So,
I ran into that. They're still gonna tell you it's suspended or it's
but you,
they're gonna make up something. But I always go back to, you know, I never renewed it. I never got another one. So technically I don't have one. That's where the ticket knowingly not having a driver's license came from. But
yeah.
I also have a contradicting ticket saying I was driving on a suspended. So that was going back and forth because I was in court for two different tickets with the same judge
Mm.
throughout the year. So it's really confusing because they were connecting cases, but then calling they're like, oh, that doesn't even matter. It's not that. I'm like, but you're basing a warrant from the last case. And
Yeah,
if I get
yeah,
it dismissed, then the warrant should be dismissed, right?
yeah. They're trying to roll it over.
Yeah.
So I'm actually trying to figure out a way to use the UCCs in order to terminate the account, the driver's license account,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's an account, just like when you go to the
Right.
bank and open up a checking account, right? But this is like an insurance policy type of account, is what it is,
Huh.
right? So I've been trying to figure out how to do this. Like I'm trying to figure out who all the right
They on my keys.
like who's the right agents or principals to put onto this thing, right? Um, and then what, like, I'm just working it out because it's going to be on a UCC one. There's probably going to be a UCC one addendum, and then a UCC three, and then another assignment, and then just that's going to end the whole thing. Like just rip it right out, and then once it's assigned to them, then it has to be terminated.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're going to be liable for millions upon millions of dollars. So they're going to terminate the account. That's the only way. And then if we do it through the UCC, they're forced to do it because it becomes a public transaction.
Mm.
Ah,
So that I'm working on how to do that. I'm trying to figure it out because I know that's the way to do it. And if you can force their hand to close the account, then it's closed and they delete it from their system. It's like, because right now, if it's suspended, it's just like a halted account. It's like closed, can be opened again later, right? So
right.
the
Yeah.
information sits there and they use it against you. But if you can get it deleted out of the system, then if the cops go run your name, nothing comes up in the DMV. You don't exist in there.
It'd probably still be in David somewhere, wouldn't it?
What's
But
Like
going on?
the
They're
driving or
expunging.
something, vehicle information database.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
you
but
gotta get. Go
they're
ahead.
expunging my account. Um, it's been put on last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can look it up.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes, people. What do you think? That was good. We had a good little powwow there. We've got 8 people in here. I sent it out to about 30. To me, that's a good turnout. So I'm gonna go through the known remedies, right? And I'm gonna just go like a quick overview, and then I'll let Joe kind of like do his thing because he was talking on my live about the habeas
Mm-hmm.
corpus, a writ requiring a person under arrest to be brought in front of a judge or into court, especially to secure the person's release, unless lawful grounds are shown for their detention. Lawful, you say that's is lawful? It's not legal.
Mm-mm.
There's a big difference. So I've got a generic habeas corpus template here, a very detailed one, and then just a memorandum of law here. So just a bunch of case law talking about how it works. So what I'm gonna do, like, um, as you elaborate, I'll just add the slides to it, and then everybody has access, right? So if I come here and I go to not organize but share.
Did you see mines? That I
Everyone, What's that?
Cause it said, request, access request.
What is your email?
GENORAGREENE.
There you go, right here. So you're on it. So you should be able to see it. I'll
Okay.
copy it and put the link to the folder in the chat.
Okay. Let's see.
Let me know if you guys see it in the chat. I just put it in the chat.
Oh,
So I guess we could look at the generic one, which is very generic. One page long, I believe it is. All right, in the state of Texas, to the chief of police, city of Grand Prairie, Texas. This is obviously out of Texas. Whereas the information by the affidavit has been laid before the blank judge of the Texas County Court, Dallas County, state of Texas, that you, Steve, whoever, and Steve Dye is, I think, is the chief of police. Yes, the said chief of police has unlawfully in your custody the body, habeas corpus is body, right, of one of James Darrell, clan of Smith. They say clan of Smith, or of the Smith family, however you want to put it, right, pursuant to the order issued by the judge of this court on said day. Therefore, to commend you, all excuse, delay is set aside to have the body of said clan of Smith before the judge by such and such time on such and such date at such and such. You got to fill in the blanks, right? Then there is to, and then and there do and receive what shall be ordered concerning the said James Darrell, clan of Smith, to then be there have his writ and make return of same. Wow. You know, hero failed not under penalties of the law. Witness, da 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 da. And then you got your certificate of service. And it's actually okay. So a writ of habeas corpus has a couple of steps to it, doesn't it, Joe? Because this is another step, and then they have this one. Oh, so this is an affidavit of facts.
Yeah, because what you do is you state the reason. You got to state who it is,
Mhm.
okay,
Right.
where they're at, and then what you have to do is you have to state the reasons why they should not be in jail, or imprisoned or incarcerated.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and they take these things. They used to take these things seriously. They kind of don't so much nowadays, because their whole system is crumbling down. They're just trying to control things more and more. It gets rougher and rougher, but they still do work. But yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to lay out the facts, and the way it's very interesting how this stuff works. Like when you do this, right? It's almost like setting up your defense in a trial case. Okay, you got to think of it like that. Like what you got to do is there are what you call it. There are facts that's being that they're talking about the no, I can't think of it. But there are facts that they are using, right, to put you in there. Now you gotta take those facts or those evidence, and you have to rebut all those things and get them to either, right, to prove that it's not true. Okay, like essential elements is what they're called, essential elements.
Okay. It's kind of like your affidavit, like an unrebutted affidavit stands as fact. So if you don't rebut a presumption, it stands as fact in their eyes. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I also have this detailed habeas corpus, and it goes into like kind of what you were saying there, John. Right? And this one is pretty. Actually, let me pull up the example because it's all filled out. It's pretty cool. Right? So you have petitioner and respondent. So like a petitioner is not seeking damages, they're seeking an order, right? And the respondent has to answer to the petitioner. whereas the plaintiff makes a complaint and is seeking damages from the defendant, right? So this thing goes through all of the instructions. He gives you a reason for the petition. Please compare and check all that apply, right? Have you pursued to completion all relevant state prison administrative remedies to your complaint? They said the jurisdiction was challenged from the beginning. The so-called judge brought and paid for clerk masquerading as a judge. This is all what we say, right? Like, I would go through and read through this because this is pretty good. This is somebody who filed a habeas corpus and pretty much outlined all the stuff that we would probably come up with the same arguments because they keep doing the same thing over and over again.
That's a pretty good one.
And then it's just a memorandum of law right here. So, Joe, have you ever filed a habeas corpus and got somebody in front of a judge?
Yeah, did it with a couple of guys a few years ago who were picked up. This is like 2012, right? 2011, 2012. They were picked up, or no, they got arrested on a traffic stop, put in jail, and I forget what they were arrested for exactly, but I know it had something to do with drugs. But they sat in jail for about a year without a trial. No, nothing. And we did a habeas corpus, and they were put on trial within a month of the habeas corpus. They were let out I think it was 2 days later. They were out, and then they had a trial, and then they had time. Both of them got time served because they were found guilty, but got time served, and one of them walked right out the door after that with the time served, and they left. I think it was they said, yeah, well, you did your year in jail, so, or whatever it was.
The other guy had to go back?
The other guy went back in jail, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was drugs, and there was something else going on with the car. I don't remember what it was, but there was something else that they had an issue with. Maybe the guy didn't have a license or something. I don't remember what it was, but that's what we did to get them out.
And I always say, this stuff can be kind of touchy because the person in jail might actually need to be in jail, So you got to take that into consideration too.
Yeah.
That's why I changed it from getting out of jail to being unlawfully in prison. Because you don't want to go get a pedophile or a murderer out of jail, right?
No, but they won't get that guy out of jail. They have to prove their whole case first, and then they could be freed. But they have to be proven. It has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that they were actually innocent and falsely accused or falsely found guilty.
Right. But it's kind of hard because, like what I said with Frank's case, he handwrote his habeas corpus, right? He handwrote. And they gave him a trial, and they made him sit there, and then they just did the continuous because nobody wants to answer or to take those charges. I said nobody wants to take those charges from the prosecution side.
Yeah, the guy I learned the habeas corpus from, many years ago. I think this is back in the mid '90s, early '90s.
Mm-hmm.
He was married. He's an old dude, right? He's around 80 years old now. You gotta listen to these old people, man, who've been through this. They know a lot of stuff. And what happened was he had a friend. Him and his wife had a friend who he was like a security guard or something. And one day he got picked up by the cops and was thrown in jail. And him and his wife were concerned about this. They're like, hey, we thought he was a good guy. What's going on? So they reached out to him to see what was happening. He goes, oh, yeah, they arrested me for not paying child support. They're like, oh, we didn't know you had a kid. He goes, I don't have any kids. And the guy's like, what? You don't have any kids, and you're in jail for not paying child support? They're like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's like, I cannot figure out what's going on. This is nuts. So he's like, I'm going to get you out, man. So he went and did a habeas corpus. The guy was out the next day. They don't play around with especially back then, they did not play around with these things. So he did the habeas corpus. The guy got out because he's like, look, you don't have any kids. He's in there for child support. delinquent on child support. He has no kids, so they let him out.
What about the judge that made that order to put him in jail?
Well, that was this is what happened. So they pulled him out. He actually went to a higher court. He went to like a county court. It was like a municipal court that went and picked him up or something. I don't know all the details on it, but that's what happened. Then what they did was they scooped him up. They said they arrested him one night when he was driving home, said he was drunk driving, which he wasn't, because he knew they had been watching him and following him around. So he was really careful about what he was doing before he would go home at night.
Mhm.
Because he noticed the cops would always follow him around. They would always be lurking around a corner for him. He's like, all right, I think this habeas corpus really pissed these guys off. And, they picked him up. They stopped him one night. They said, oh, you smell like you've been drinking. He goes, I have not had a drink of alcohol in 6 months. They go, no. Arrested him, right? Took him right to jail. He sat in jail. They had him sitting in jail. And his wife divorced him while he was sitting in jail. Like within like 2 months, she divorced him while he was sitting in jail. And he's sitting there for about 2 months. And he goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to write habeas corpuses for everybody. So he just had everybody that was in prison just line up, and he started writing habeas corpuses for everyone, right? He wrote one for himself, and it was denied. They said, no, you need to be in there because you're a danger to society, because you're out there drinking and driving on the road. And so they denied him for that reason. They're just going to let him sit there and rot. So he started doing habeas corpuses for everyone. And after about like 12 or 15 people, they said, get this guy out of the jail. He's creating more problems here. So they kicked him out of the jail for doing habeas corpus.
That's what Frank needed to do. That's what Frank needs to do, because he wrote his own, and I think he said he helped a couple other people do one too. But apparently he's in like the worst prison in Georgia. So
Mm.
now, but I wanted to ask you.
We need to send him several letters with copies of them. So he can, if they take one, somebody just send him the next, and he can just start writing them for everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been handwritten too, because they in jail. Do they have computers in there? Like they do? Okay.
It was the 90s. Everything was either done on a typewriter or by hand. And he
Nice.
said, you could just do it by hand. It doesn't matter.
Right.
He drew the whole thing out and everything, So
Mhm.
after a while, because they wouldn't give them the paper to do it, they had to go use at first they stopped giving them paper, right? That
Right.
was the first thing they did. Oh, well, there's no paper. So they started using the milk cartons and stuff like that to write the habeas corpus on there,
That's
right?
crazy.
That's
Crazy.
so funny. Uh,
Write it on the wall.
yeah.
Right.
It's like, on one side you got the missing kid, and on the other side you got the man that's been found.
Yep. So I wanted to ask you about the name decree. You ever heard of people using the name decree? Because that's what Honey said on my live one day, and she said that's how one of the people got out, right? So I mean, I haven't I know it's a change of the name. You're changing your name, but you're not changing the name. You're just changing the stipulations behind the name, right?
Yeah, I've never done that personally. I know
Okay.
people who have done that. Um, and I know some people swear by it,
Mhm.
but I'll tell you, someone who a couple people who were pretty, real people on this whole thing, they're like, it didn't do shit for me.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so it's up to you. You decide what you want to do. If you want to do that, go ahead. If you don't want to do it, then you don't have to. It's a free country.
Right.
Do whatever you want. I have
Sure.
not done it. Some people say that this is powerful, and it might be depending on who you're dealing with, right?
Right.
So, but also, so, the two people who told me that this didn't do anything for them, they're definitely targets to begin with. So that could be another thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and absent of that, then you have the DBAs too. So I just replaced the name decree with the DBA. Because I watched a video with a guy named Rob Ryder, and he said the guy got his DBA, right? Or his assumed name, and he got a certificate with a seal and a stamp on it. And he said he gave it to the judge, and then the judge just had to shuffle him out of there, you know? And the lawyer was like, what happened here? And What did you show the judge? I can't believe
That's
this
the
happened.
video we were talking about earlier.
What's that?
Was that the video we were just talking about earlier before Joe
Yeah.
came in? Yeah,
Yeah, great, with the claim the name video, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, is this this new one with this someone just sent it to me.
You-
Yeah, I've gotten the case like put on recess and then served with another court date or a dismissal.
Right, but like, I mean, apparently once you file like the assumed name and you're telling them that, okay, I'm doing business under this name and can't nobody else do it. Who is that?
I don't know. This guy.
Oh, that's the older guy that talks about the straw man.
His
The
name's like Richard something, Richard Vobes.
Did he swear by the Minnesotas or something?
He brought in some people to talk about this the assumed name thing.
Mhm.
Someone sent it to me today. I know one of the guys that's talking, they try to keep themselves private. But so a friend of mine, like a mutual friend, sent it to me. Go, oh look! I was like, oh snap! Yeah, this guy's on there. That's so funny. So I didn't know if that was the one you were talking about, but
Nah, like this guy never showed his face, and all of his videos are from at least 10 to 12 years ago, like 2010, 2011. Well, I think it's the same concept applies, you know?
yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
I've done mine back in December, and I have my paperwork for it, but I did it because I felt like I was in a marriage that was with a narcissist, and I felt like she was doing some things with my legal name, so I wanted to separate as far as possible till I can able to get my name trademark
Mhm.
to to have that control aspect of it. That's the reason I did my DBA.
Right. So I mean, you could do the DBA, then you could do what do they call it? Get it copyrighted and trademarked,
Mhm.
right? Because then they can't use it after that.
But who tracks it? If they
So
actually are still using it or not, or
Uh,
can people?
Minnesota, the Secretary of State was the only website that allows you to do the DBA for your personal name, and you have to go through and put like private and stuff like that into their system to get the certificates and stuff.
hmm,
So maybe if you're in a different state other than what state, Mr. Difficult? You said Michigan.
It's the
Minnesota.
state of Minnesota that does it. It comes back up with like 333 is the authorization code.
Right.
But then you put your state of wherever you live in it. But Minnesota is the only website that allows it to be done for some
Like,
reason.
right. And
So
like
then
the joke,
if you're in Texas or Colorado, would you want to send it to that Secretary of the State?
No, it's always done in Minnesota.
Okay.
yeah, because I heard you and Liza talking about it on live one day, the Minnesotas, and it was real good. I was like, damn, I don't have anything to write down, anything with, and
Yeah, it does it you know when you do it, it's like attaching yourself to that Minnesota Rule 220, which is the age of majority rule, right? So it does involve that, but the other thing is that you know it's the only state where you're not the business owner, although they'll say business owner, but once you put it on there, it says that you're the name holder. So it's showing that you're not that entity. Right? It's
which
very interesting how it works. So because of that, it's different. Like I just make cards, I just hand them out, and they like go and pull. I got a bunch of these. Like,
is that your certificate, like small down?
yeah. What I did was I took the PDF, I shrank it down, and then I made it like the mail postage, like for package size, and I just printed out a bunch of them on cardstock.
Wow.
So I just handed it over to the cops. I go, here you go. This is for you. I said, oh, I just need to see yours. You got yours, right? And
Right.
they come back and they say, have a good night. And the other side has the copyright certificate on it. So
Huh.
I put the copyright on the one side, I put this on the other side. And yeah, well,
What did you use to copyright your name?
Copyright Depot costs about $18.
Copyright Depot. All right.
Copyright Depot.
I mean, if that, because like I got a whole travel kit in my car. I just need to make one of them.
Hey, Mr. Difficult, Fatima, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Good, good. I was just gonna chime in. I actually did the assumed name through Minnesota also, but there's a TikToker by the name of Lisa Ivanova. I don't know if you guys heard of her, but she charges $29 or $29.99, and she teaches you step by step how to do it from A to Z, like like literally anybody could do it, and she's really fair, and I went through her, and that's how I got mine done.
Yeah, someone else in here said that they did Lisa's process.
That'd be me.
Mm-hmm. I took Ampu's class, but Ampu goes farther than just getting to Minnesota's. He goes into like setting up an entire office for being the executive. And I think this would probably be a good, I'll fill this out later. I might even just take this out, but I'll fill out this part with the assumed name.
But Joe, aren't they all the same? Because we did it when Felicia done it a while ago.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. The way Lisa does it is a little different than Felicia, because Felicia has you do all the different variations of how your name could be spelled
Right.
as the name holder. Whereas Lisa does, and she goes by Lisa, I found out, because I thought it was Liza. And she just said, I just saw a video today. She goes, "My name's Lisa." And I'm like, look at that. It's Lisa. So
Well, we were just trying to make her more fancy, that's all.
that's right. Yeah. Liza.
Liza.
Liza. So yeah. Yeah, she just has you do it the quantum syntax version.
Oh,
She does. Yeah, which is fine. That's totally fine. You could do it that way.
yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, but the way Felicia teaches it, she got that process from a guy who has been doing it for a long time. He likes to stay under the radar. So
Mhm.
I see.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, if I said his name, you wouldn't even know who he is anyway.
Oh, we don't got we'll just say the
Yeah.
guy that's been a long time. That's fine.
But his thing was that that guy was doing this because he has a CDL and he drives trucks. He owns like a whole trucking service, so he needs to have a CDL to operate his business. So
Uh-huh.
he can't like rescind his driver's license and do anything like that because he needs it for work.
Right.
So
I don't
he's
even
like, so the passport, he went and did the passport, but he can't use that when he gets pulled over because they're gonna give him a ticket because he's a CDL driver.
Oh, yeah.
right,
So
yeah.
that's when he found about the assumed name, and these guys who drive cross country, they are targets for the cops. Believe it or not,
Oh yeah.
it's easy. The cops just give them like low level tickets, like that are kind of expensive, but don't damage their license. So that way, these guys will just go and pay it because they can't go drive like 600 miles to a court case over a speeding ticket. So they'll just go pay it.
Mhm.
Oh, if you pay by this date, you won't get any points.
Mhm.
That's terrible.
They're
I
just
know.
taking people's money. Like, this is
So
crazy.
he just
Yeah.
sends them a little mail sticker with the copyright on it, like you got.
No, yeah, but what he does now is when he gets pulled over, he hands him the certificate. He says, he goes, "Okay, officer, here's my certificate. I just need to see yours so I can see that you're probably registered to do business with me, and I'll write up an invoice for you. How many tickets you'd like to issue me today,
Exactly.
so that I can invoice you properly for that." And
Right.
then the cop goes, "Wait, what? What?" And then they let him go.
Because the
So
cop is doing business. He's not enforcing law. He's doing business. He's
That's right.
contracting.
Yep.
So that's why, like, I heard about the petition for a letter of administration from somebody on my live the other day, and it was kind of cool because it's kind of like it kind of gets around having to set up the executor office, or possibly even have to get an EIN for it.
Yeah, I have an EIN for the assumed name.
Right, because you're supposed to get EINs for all these assumed names and the estate.
Yeah,
Yep. I haven't done my Minnesota EINs yet, but
that's easy.
I haven't either. I didn't know you had to do one.
oh yeah, you
You don't
gotta
have
get
to.
it for all of them. You don't have to, right? But if
Yeah,
you
you
want
do
to do
whatever you
business
want.
with them, then you have to, right?
Yeah, well, if you do it, then you can set up a business account. So the nice thing about doing that EIN for the assumed name is that now you can have a business account in like your name, right?
Yeah.
And it would be a business. You just go in there with the assumed name certificate and your business, your EIN, and they're not going to say no. They're just like, oh, okay, all right, cool,
So do
whatever.
you get the
They said it.
EIN from Minnesota?
Yeah, no. The EINs
It's,
always come from the IRS.
oh, okay.
Correct.
Uh,
So like that's what I was talking about, Joe. Like I'm gonna try to see if I could get one of my DBAs or assumed names out of Minnesota to be Mr. Difficult. And I'm gonna
Hey.
just do this under Mr. Difficult. See if I can get a license with that. So I had him with my executor office address on there, and it's
Mhm.
gonna be Mr. Difficult.
Now, when you write any letters as the executor, that has to be in blue.
Yep.
I forget the
did
exact, huh?
I did one of those maybe like 2 years ago with the blue ink,
Yeah.
and I sent it to the attorney general. Never
Yeah.
responded back to any of them. Matter of fact, I bombarded her with every ticket that was in the name. I sent her those and she never responded back.
Mm. What happened to the tickets?
Some of them they got dropped.
Hmm.
Some of them they got dropped because they were sending me stuff in the mail like, oh, they dropped this ticket. But I'm like, okay, I got a letter that you dropped this ticket, but the incident from last year has the same thing, but that's not dropped yet. So it's kind of like, okay, you guys pick and choose what you want to drop from someone's record.
Right,
Right.
right.
Well, it seems as though they won't drop the stuff that they could possibly get the most money off of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, we'll drop these because we don't want to deal with it. But if we could get some money out of it from this, then
Right. Exactly.
Well, I sent the 1099-A and then they got it. They put it on the record, on the transcript. So I can see it when I pull it up. So yesterday I went and canceled it with a 1099-C.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like winging it, like see what works.
If you're gonna do that with a court case, you gotta you gotta do the 1099-A for $3 million minimum.
3
Okay.
million, I only put 1 million.
Gotta do it for 3 million because they put at least 2 million on each bond that they're gonna use on the GSA bonds.
Uh-huh.
So because they use three, 1, 2, 3,
Uh-huh.
3 million.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta do it for 3 million. Then you do the C, right? And if you really want to, you can OID it as well. And those guys will get audited in a heartbeat.
And I can send the audit in the OID. Can I fax it?
No, don't fax it. You got to mail that. You could do it online. Just go to like 1099 online and do them. But you got
Yeah.
to wait. You got to let the first one, like the A, you have to do first. And it
Yeah.
has to get
That one
approved.
got accepted. So now I got to go in and change it, do a correction since you said 3 million, because I only did it for 1 million.
Yeah. Also, you should do a 3949A and a 211 form, and you should do a
I did
identity theft report against them as well.
Yeah, I did that. I just haven't sent them in because I got like 12 of them, and then I had went to the IRS and got them stamped.
All right.
So
You should
I
probably
gotta mail them off to the CID, right?
yeah, and then you should also do an 8300 form.
That's it, 8,300.
8,300. Telling that they're like messing around with the money.
Yeah. 8,300.
Yeah.
Now, is that through fencing?
It's kind of it's a little mixed. It's like a FinCEN. It's an IRS form. Like it'll be
Oh,
on the IRS website, but
okay.
it's also a FinCEN form, so it's kind of both,
Uh-huh.
right? And what it does, it shows like who was taking cash, right? It's like a cash transaction,
Uh-huh.
right? Cash payment, stuff like that. I mean, they're not gonna like this, you
Ooh.
know, and because you're telling, hey, look, these guys were doing transactions in like over $10,000 in cash. You're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like, say what? You know, the
Yeah.
IRS is gonna be all over that.
Yeah.
You know, like technically, if you were if you were selling drugs and you did the 8,300 form, okay, every year and reported all your drug sales on there, they'll leave you alone. As long as you're paying your
Really?
taxes on it, they don't care.
Wow. Yeah,
Ah,
I was just talking about this 8,300 form. I thought it was 8,833. I don't know what I was, but the 8,300.
Yeah, 8,833 form. I
Eight.
don't think I know. I don't know that form.
Yeah, but you said this form is the 8,300, right?
Yeah, 8,300
8,300.
cash transactions over $10,000.
Oh, wow. And then you submit that into who?
IRS or
IRS?
FinCEN, because it's a FinCEN and IRS form. It's actually both.
Okay. Because I'm registered my name with FinCEN from Minnesota.
Mm,
I registered my name with FinCEN and then some class I took, but they said you can register your name, your VIN number from your car, your address, like the number of your address. You can,
hmm
and then that way nobody can come and claim because you're the beneficial owner of the name,
Right.
the VIN number, and the house. So
mm.
yeah.
I gotta step away for a quick minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I do too, but like before I go, like I came across this petition for a letter of
Administration
yeah, has anyone heard of it?
petition for a letter of administration. I've never Supreme Court approval. Hmm.
And like for me, this is one thing you can do in a court case to
Uh-huh.
assert your position as the
Uh-huh.
executor without having the executor letter with the blue ink and all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I've never seen that.
I never seen it either up until last week, but I
Mm-hmm.
was pull it out and send it to my court case and see if I could get it closed out
So would
because
that go to your Supreme Court?
and I'm just gonna do it for my court case,
Oh,
this
okay.
case I'm having right now in the state of or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I feel like since the fact of the matter is most people haven't claimed their estate. It's not on record that you are administering your own account.
Right.
Your estate is technically abandoned, so they can use it as abandoned property and
Right.
administer.
Right.
I was just wondering because this seems like a quick and dirty way to set it. You know what I mean? Because this is from
Yeah.
Georgia. I'm in Georgia, so I mean, if you go
Yeah.
from petition for a letter of administration and then put your
Y'all have so many avenues to go to in Atlanta, in Georgia.
right,
Like,
but the thing is, you don't know if the court you're in is going to accept them though.
mm,
You know what I mean? You know, they might. I don't know if the judge will accept this. You know, but will he accept the executive letter? I don't know. You know
Well,
what I mean?
the
So
executor
where is
letter,
the
So
governing?
you don't really care if the court or the clerk is gonna accept it. Just mail it to them. They don't have a choice.
Right?
mm,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. But you know, your court case might still be open, and they refuse to close it and settle it.
But you're creating your own record. So once you know and you have a record that that's what happened, they could kick and scream all they want. you have that record. So if you do need to make a claim later on, you have that record to show that you're coming in with truth and
Yeah.
facts and evidence.
And then
They're not gonna come with nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Sorry, just to put a little icing on the cake. A lot of times people are scared about what if they don't respond, or what if they refuse this, or what if. The thing is, this is your record. They have theirs. That's why they have these institutions that keep records of whatever they want, right? Unless
Right.
someone comes in with either a higher law or something that contradicts what they're doing, they're not going to stop. They don't care what you want to do. They know what they're going to do. Right. So you have to have that same attitude to be your own executor, be your own office, be your own accountant, be your own record keeper.
Yep.
And once you put it in the mail, what? It becomes federal. So it doesn't matter what they say, it's federal mail. So they got it, they opened it. What are they going to say? Oh, it wasn't them? Okay, so now you committed mail fraud because someone opened it in your office.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And then you could pull in the inspector general and say, hey, someone opened this mail. The court is saying that they didn't do it. So let's have an investigation going. That'll get quashed real quick.
I'm wondering if you could use it to get out of jail, though. What do you think, Joe?
The executor letter itself may do that, but it's not necessarily going to do that. It does depend on some other circumstances. So, but the executor letter itself is really to just give back abandoned paperwork, or to let them know, hey, this is the executor of this estate. I'm the executor of this estate. I don't consent to any of these proceedings, and as the executor, I'm telling you to drop them. The courts are all administrating the estate, but once the executor shows up properly, they have to walk away from it. They have to listen to what the executor tells them to do. So as the executor, you're going in as you're the sovereign, you're the free one, you're the one in charge, and you just tell them what needs to be done, and they have to do it. Now, if they disregard or anything like that, then yeah, you could do stuff like report it to the inspector general. You can go to the attorney general. You can do those things to get this thing heard. But from my experience, what I've seen is they usually just kind of run away from this thing. They don't want to talk about it. They make the cases disappear. It's a very interesting situation that goes on with this executor letter.
Right. Well, I was just wondering, because this seems like a quick and dirty way of doing that and let these people know that, hey, I'm the executor. I might not have everything set up, but it's still my estate, and I wish to assume the role or occupy the office of executor.
No, I wouldn't tell them that not everything's set up. You want to make it look like you got everything under control.
Right.
Hey, guys, you're trying to administer the estate that I'm the executor of. You're not allowed to do that. What's really interesting, I'm working with a woman currently whose husband just passed away.
Mhm.
And she is the executrix of the estate, but the court wasn't recognizing her as such. He goes, well, you haven't been appointed yet. And we just sent in a couple letters, and what's happening is that her husband was he owned a company with he was like partners in a company, and they were suing, some other company was suing his LLC, and he passed away during that. Now that company is suing him personally. After he passed away, they found out he passed away. About 3 months later, they opened up these charges against him being dead. So they're going after the estate. So she just stepped in and was like, what do I do? I'm like, you're going to become the executor and you're going to take over this case, and tell them to stop. Right. And she sent in some paperwork. We started putting in paperwork. They said, we're not going to take that. We don't recognize you as the executor. So we sent another letter in, and the courts told the company that was suing right? Or the law firm said, yeah, we're going to drop, we're not going to do this case. We're not going to see this case anymore. And all they did was tell her they said, all you need to do is put in a petition to stop the case. That's what they told her to do, and recognize her as the executrix of the state. So it was kind of funny because at first they're like, screw you, lady. And we sent in another letter and they're like, whoa, hold on a second. Guys, you can't bring charges to this estate. And now they said they need one thing from her, which was she has to file a petition to have the case dropped. And then they said they'll drop it once she does that. Because they said we have to still follow our rules, so please do that, and then we'll get rid of the case for you. They they opened the door wide open, said this is what you need to do to get the case dropped. Just do this, and you're good to go. How crazy is that?
That's somebody talking? Oh, no. So it's just because they knew they probably couldn't proceed. Like, I'm kind of wondering if that's what's wrong with my case, because it's completely cold now. And it's been over a month.
Well,
And it's like, I mean, if you've got an EIN saying that you are the executor of this state from the IRS, I mean, doesn't the courts work directly with the IRS, so they should know that? You know what I mean?
right. And this is the other thing is that when you have the IRS even saying that you're the executor, it scares them because they don't want to interfere. They don't want to get in trouble with the IRS. They are under the IRS, and they can get in trouble. That's why filing all these IRS forms on the courts and stuff like that work. Because they're supposed to be paying taxes. They're all tax evaders.
So,
It's like,
so isn't the reason they're running away from even dealing with the IRS is because they don't have clean hands?
Yep.
Because they don't want to have anything on public record anywhere showing that they've been dipping into whatever pool they have access to.
That's right.
Because they don't have official authorization to do it. They have access to it and they know what they're doing, but they just don't have anything official to say, hey, here's my authority to do this, so I'm going forward with whatever I'm doing. But isn't it so let's use your example, Mr. Difficult, right? You put in this stuff in the case, they freeze, they're not making any more actions on it. Wouldn't it be easier to say, hey, either motion for summary judgment or motion to dismiss?
that was the last thing I said was a summary judgment. Along with
So
yeah. But I think I filed all of that after I got my EIN, after I got my DBAs, all of that. So I just think that they can't respond. They can't fill out the necessary forms,
So whichever court you're in, do you look up the rules of civil procedure or rules of criminal procedure to see what time frame they have? Because if they go past the time frame, you could now just put in a notice to do whatever you want. You can either say, hey, I'm going to, from this point forward, given the violation of the due process of law in this case, right, you could now execute on, say, hey, I'm going to start holding everyone accountable who has touched this case, and here's my fee schedule. Or you could say, hey, here's my notice I'm moving this to federal court.
I mean, I ain't trying to go to federal. I'm just trying to get them to get this, because I think it costs like $400 to file a case on federal.
Not really. It's if the case is already started, and let's say, for example, now they're not following their own rules.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're moving it to federal court because of either a constitutional question or a violation of federal law, you should be able to get the case moved without you, because you're not the plaintiff, right? So if you're moving it to federal, I think there's a rule in there where you can move it and you can have the fee waived without, having to come out of pocket with it. But all that to say, all the crap that happens in state court goes out the window in federal. There is
Right.
no, oh, maybe we can do this, maybe we could do that, maybe this will. No, they are very strict on rules and very strict on evidence and what you present in there. So
Right,
if they're
some municipalities, they make their own rules.
they try to make their own rules, but trust me, if you mention federal, I guarantee you they are gonna start straightening up. As a matter of fact, they might just be like, okay, well, what do you want?
Yep. Yeah, they do that. This is, there's a case that's going on right now. That I think all the state courts are freaking out about right now.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm actually going to pull it up right now, see what's going on. Okay, so it hasn't been announced yet. Okay, but it's still going on. But here's something really interesting. If this case goes through, okay, they've already made opinions that are going to impact the entire country. The case is called it's SEC versus Jarkessi. Okay, and what happened was they've already ruled that the states do not have the authority to issue due process because they don't. They don't have due process. So they're not allowed to be taking people's stuff. They can't take anything from anybody. They don't have the authority to do it because they can't do due process in the states. I've been
Right.
saying this to people for a long time, and now we got a Supreme Court justice saying it. So, well, they don't have due process because due process is the Seventh Amendment, and none of the courts have the common law. So they
Yep.
can't be taking people's stuff. So they got to give everything back.
Yeah, because they're coming as state of, right? And it's not like Georgia State. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of cases that in the past, it's just like, I don't understand why people are not standing on some of those, monumental cases, like just like Joe's saying right now. Like, a lot of this stuff has been ruled on already. It just haven't been made popular or public or, just.
But the states will just gloss over it anyway, bro. You gotta, like you said, you gotta go out of the state and take it federal.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
But like you were saying, like for the habeas corpus to go federal with it instead of trying to go on a state level with the habeas corpus.
Right, because it's all their friends. They're going to protect their friends. You say, listen, this judge falsely threw my friend or my brother or me in prison, and I'm sitting in prison under false pretenses. He knew and held exculpatory evidence, and this is a Brady rule violation. Blah blah this and that, and he just didn't care. He just wanted to get somebody in jail, and I'm just the wrong guy, right? And if you send that to the state's going to go, nah, that's my friend. I'm not, no. No.
Right.
If he goes down, I go down. No way. I got to protect him because he's
Exactly.
going to protect me. So
They
you
gonna
send it
start
to
snitching
federal.
on each other.
Yeah, then you
They're
send
gonna
it to
need
federal.
to.
Right. To save their own ass, they're gonna start just how they make us snitch on each other, right?
Yeah,
So how hard is it to do to go federal with the habeas, with the Habe?
you just got to mail it in.
You just put just choose the right venue and all that.
Yeah,
But it doesn't cost money to do so.
I mean it's going to cost a postage stamp to send it in.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Hey, Mr. Difficult, just to let you know, by God's law, we have equal right to like justice. So fee waivers, you can be a millionaire and still get a fee waiver because all courts have them, you just ask for it. And I've used fee waivers for all my court cases and I've gotten approved. They don't even check anything. Because you have that right to access to law. So if you're worried about that, just ask for a fee waiver and they'll give it to you.
Well, I'm just saying because like once I get the process down, I'm going federal to all of these people. But like I never brought a case against somebody. It's always somebody bringing a case against me, and then
Mhm.
what do I do?
You gotta hold them accountable.
Right.
They don't
So
care
Yeah,
what they do to us.
Everybody on
basically,
does everybody on the call have the NDA? Because it's 1 minute, and I want to make sure that everybody who it's 9:30 now. I want to make sure everybody who sent in the NDAs, we can get into the dessert, which is the private process, right?
I didn't get a chance to send it in yet because I don't have a printer or a scanner.
Send it.
But
Take a picture. Take a picture of this of the document. Send it to me.
okay.
All right. So I'm going to end this call. I'm going to start the other one, guys. Joe, you got the one for the other one, right?
I don't know.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, all right, appreciate it.
All right.
So we're
I'm gonna end
just
this.
switching on to the next one. Did you,
Yeah.
Mr. Difficult, did you get my, cause for some reason it's going to my other email, my Gmail account for the,
I got
Yeah.
you talking about your NDA?
yeah, not the NDA, but the, the Dropbox, cause it's, when I went in there, it's going to to my Gmail account. I think I sent you a message.
Just email me the email you need for
Okay,
to access, and then I'll add you to the list.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna switch over to the private call now, guys.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Sharing and call.